Religion and faith is very similar to patriotism and nationalism. Religion is worshiping something. Look at nationalism, right? You worship flags and bald eagles and symbols, right? Like the Statue of Liberty or the Liberty Bell, or more American flags, or words like freedom, 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 or patriot, patriot, right? But patriotism is actually caring about the country and the people that symbol represents. You take that same ideology and look at faith and religion, right? What do you see with people that are religious, right? The symbols. Flags is one of them. A cross, a symbol of what Jesus stood for. Or a picture of Jesus, another symbol. But they don't actually care for the people that those symbols represent. Example, we're pro-life. I'm against abortion. What are you going to do for gun violence? Nothing. What are you going to do for universal health care? Nothing. What about the officers that died on January 6th? Nothing. How about 14 million kids who go to school hungry? Nothing. That's religion. Faith without works is dead. When you take faith and you remove critical thinking, you get religion. And that's what white Christian nationalism is. The white evangelical church has weaponized many racist white people into thinking that if you're gay or abortion, they're the worst sins. Where? Show me the Bible. It's not in there. It doesn't say they're the worst. The book of James says that if you break one commandment, you're guilty of breaking all of them. That a sin is a sin is a sin. Because they want to play God. They can't have that critical conversation because they've been told what to believe in the white evangelical church. I was named after Saul of Tarsus, the Apostle Paul. But I can also question things, right? If God is pro-life, why did he flood the entire earth? Why hasn't he stopped cancer? Why didn't he step in during the Holocaust? See, I have critical thinking. That's why I'm not religious. I'm a person of faith. Conversely, religion. Oh, Jesus saved his little orange ear of the rapist and the child molester. Oh, I don't question God. Oh, it's a miracle. Well, then, if you had critical thinking, why didn't God step in during the Holocaust? Why hasn't he stepped in and stopped gun violence? Why didn't he step in during the world wars or the genocide of the Native Americans or slavery or Jim Crow? But see, you can't answer that because you're stuck in religion. Your pride is so strong that you can't even critically analyze your own belief system. And it goes back to even more with the Republican side of things, right? Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? What if you are? You say you're a person of faith. Aren't you supposed to love your neighbor? But you keep asking, but I'm better off, which means you're selfish. But you can't do that because you don't have critical thinking. Let's say you have more money. Are you supposed to value money or morality? Are you supposed to give unto Caesar what is Caesar's and build wealth on heaven? Or are you supposed to build your wealth up in heaven where moth and rust can't get to them? Kindness, compassion, empathy. You see, you can't have that conversation. You say that the racist podcaster Charlie Kirk, oh, he was a great man of God. But when you critically look at his words, he asked for the execution of Joe Biden. He said, if the pilot's black, is he qualified? Not as a pilot white. He said the great white replacement theory. He said the Second Amendment was worth the cost, I think, of dead Americans. That's your guy, huh? That's your pro-life Christian. But see, you can't because you worship somebody. That's what religion does. That's why we have a lot of people that voted for the rapist president. Because they've been convinced that these two sins are the worst of the worst. They've removed critical thinking. How much do they harp on people being gay, right? And they'll go into churches and they'll demonize people. So I'll leave you with the question, white evangelicals, since you're so Christ-like, why is it that you go into a church and you won't sit next to Pete Buttigieg because you're going to quote a book, Leviticus or Deuteronomy or Numbers or Habakkuk or Nehemiah, and say, look, this is what the Bible says. But at the same time, you have no problem sitting next to a man who is a child molester, who is protecting child molesters, who cheats on his wife, who commits tax fraud, who bears false witness 80 times a day, and cause an insurrection. Why is that okay? And see, that lack of critical thinking is why we're here as a society. We have a lot of stupid people that have been indoctrinated by the church because you're playing God, not following God. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot serve your orange daddy, Donald Trump, your Antichrist, and Jesus. You cannot own the libs and say, I hate the libs, and serve Jesus. You cannot make anonymous death threats to people that you disagree with and call yourself a follower of Jesus. It's the lack of critical thinking. It's religion. And I do this because I'm sick and tired of people feeling like their faith has been weaponized by white supremacy. And that's what this is that they will justify any level of indecency, immorally, assault, felonies, as long as they're the right demographic. As long as you're white, you're right. And I'll leave you with the last example. Lincoln Riley. What happened to her was horrible. But there was over 41,000 gun deaths that year. Many of those were children under the age of 17. Thousands of them. But you haven't said a goddamn thing about any of them, have you? Because it was a brown person coming from Mexico. And it showed who you really are. We're racists. Because you didn't say a damn thing about the 1,500 people that beat police officers, did you? No, you didn't. You didn't say anything about Ahmaud Arbery being chased down by 3 MAGA supporters. Not a damn thing. You didn't go out and say Black Lives Matter and stand up for George Floyd when a white man murdered him. Not a goddamn thing. Because it was about one thing. Maintaining the white male patriarchy. Have a white day.